guys? Welcome back to the channel. Hope everyone's having a fantastic day. We are going to be working on my 2006 Evo 9 MR. So the last of the Evo 9s. I think it only came out, what, 2 years? Last of the Evo 8 9s. This is a good one. It's MR in addition with the 6-speed. So what we've done recently is we put some cheap coilovers on that are okay. I've been driving with them. They're okay. One, I'm going to lower them a little bit in the front. The rear seemed to be fine. The front need to be a little bit lowered. They are, I think, 7 spring rate and 8 spring rate in the back, or vice versa. That being said, they are a little bouncy, so I do need to lower the car. Also for ride height, that doesn't look as cool. And then on this main video of this, what we're gonna be doing is I'm gonna show you guys how to install Evo 9 brakes. Now, the Evo 9 comes with Brembo brakes and really nice rotors and pads from factory, but mine wore out. This car has like 98,000 miles on it, or 97,000 miles on it. I don't know when the brakes have been done or not. So in this video today, I'm gonna show you guys how to install nice brakes. So first thing we need to do is put the car up on jack stands, and then I'll show you the products of what we're gonna be installing today. You guys remember, I've always been working on cars for a long time, like 15, 20 years, just for fun. One of the things that I recommend is because you have to take the wheels off, so that's the next step, take the wheels off. Buy Redline Ricer, one of my friends said, you should buy one of these. And I bought this, I think it was like 110 bucks. And it's an electric impact gun. And I always use stuff with air or just with ratchet wrenches forever. For like, I don't know, like the first 10 years. And then he's like, we went and looked at a CELICA and we took parts off of it. And he had one of these. And anyways, I went and bought one of these. Absolutely recommend this. And now I'm looking for one of the little ones that are like the, this is a 1/2 inch to 3/8. So I'll get one of those next. But you have to have one of these. Super, I mean, better than compressored, air compressored impact guns. This is just amazing, super lightweight, super easy, and you don't have the giant air compressor. So you need to have one of these, especially if you're doing all these. So let's buzz off the rest of the wheels. Before we start these crusty brakes, look at that. Oh my gosh. There is nothing left. They're toast. Look how much gap I was writing on those coilovers. That is huge. So we're gonna cut that about in half. And then the front will be a lot lower. The rear is pretty good, to be honest. We might go a little bit lower, but I have wheel spacers, which we'll be doing in another video. And so I don't want the wheel spacers to rub on the fenders. So we'll see how low I go on it, but definitely gonna lower that about by in half. And so all you gotta do is, it's really simple. All you have to do is do lefty, loosey on this guy, let it break, and then you can just turn the monotube down. In the past, I've done this before on some coilovers. I haven't done it on this one, but a good measurement, to be honest, for a nice aesthetic ride height for me is the socket length. So I took the socket and then did that between the gaps. Now let's look at this so you guys can see that. That's how much I lowered it. On this side, this will blow your mind. It'll be a huge gap. And this is why the car is riding so high. Look at this. Crazy. So we'll go ahead and raise or lower this one to that height too. Now the main thing is I am running on 17s. If you're running on maybe 18s or 19s, you might not want that. It might be, you might have to raise the car. Good rule of thumb, good rule of socket. That's what a deep Craftsman socket seems to be a good ride height. Back, now we're gonna start the brakes. So we lowered both the sides. That should be pretty good. Should be a pretty aesthetic fit. Let's go ahead and we're gonna actually start on the other side, but man, you guys can see how toast those brakes are. There's nothing left. In this video, we are gonna replace the rotors and the brake pads. I'm gonna show you guys how to do that. On the next video, we're gonna mask all this up, paint over the Brembo here that's faded, and then we will reinstall new Brembo stickers. It'll be nice, it'll be amazing. And then on the following video, we will do wheel spacers, and I'll do it before and after and why you must have them. Super easy. 2 19 millimeters on the back of the Brembo brake, literally off the hub right there, and then you're good. So that's it. Then, if you're lucky like I am, this won't be seized on here, and it'll just come off of that, the brake rotor. Set that down, and then there you are. So what I always like to do is I scrub all this and clean it all down, just so that we have a nice, beautiful aesthetic look. If you're really into it, you can actually spray this. Do I want to do that? Do I want to spray it? No, I'm thinking about it. I may or may not. I'll look and grab the rotor to see if it is. But we'll do wire brush on this. Now you should, if I were you, I'd recommend, I just couldn't find one real quick, a bungee cord, and you can bungee the coilover strap to the brake so that there's no, I have braided right here, which is pretty cool, but so that it's not pulling on that. You can see in there how horrible those brakes, there is nothing left on that. That's just absolute trash, unbelievable. I can't believe I could stop. This is totally shot, so we'll get rid of this. I can even feel all the warps on it, which is nice. So it's nice that I got all my money's worth out of this. Again, this came with the car. A lot of times when you buy a car, one of the first things you probably do is brake, especially if you're gonna make 350 horsepower, you wanna be able to stop, right? So this will be a nice detailed video for you. So 19 millimeter. What we're gonna do is grab that new rotor. I'm gonna set it on here after I wire brush this. You can buy a wire wheel like this, and then a drill. This whole setup right here is like $20, $25, and it'll make this whole thing look brand new. And all you do is just like that, and then wire across that, get rid of the rust. It's just every time I've ever done that, it does get this here. And you just want a nice clean surface. I know if you take this to a brake shop, they'll not do this. This is why it's fun to do stuff at home, because you make it look nice and aesthetic, clean. I decided not to be lazy, and I wrinkle blacked the heat shield. That looks nice. That's so cool. So a nice little wrinkle black there. It's gonna get dirty anyways, but I think the wrinkle black looks really good. Even got the little 10 millimeter behind there, wrinkle black. Okay, we are now ready to go and grab my new rotor, which is going to be amazing. It is awesome. It even has a left on there and a right sticker from them. That is a nice product. It is, golly geez. These are some of the nicer brakes that I buy. I usually don't go too expensive on brakes, but these are really nice for the Evo 9 or 8. Definitely recommend these so far. Look how good they look. Back a step. So I took the rotor and just set it right here. And then I put the 19 millimeter back in and hold the Brembo. And then now what we're gonna do is we're gonna tap out this little guy and this little guy, and these are pins like this that hold the pads in here. The reason I'm doing this now is because if I were to put the rotor back on, you're not gonna have a lot of area to do this. So keep the rotor away, and then we'll pull these out, and then what I'll do is I'll show you guys how to use my little ratcheting wrench that pushes the brake, each little caliper back in. This is my absolute favorite tool. Okay, so what this is a little wrench. You can get them like anywhere. They're like $10, you have to get one. And they actually come with adjustable plates. I just did this on another vehicle. FRS is what I did. So what you do is you put it in here, it sits on all 4 pistons, and then you literally ratchet it slowly down, and it's pushing the pistons back into their socket. I do use a little bit of lubricant or brake clean in here to clean all this junk out while I'm doing it, and then I will clean up inside of there. Make sure that you do this slowly so you don't tear any of the seals, because they're old little seals in there. So you're just going like this, and it's just gonna sit them back in there. Super easy, super simple, very satisfying. And it's pushing the brake fluid back into this line, back up into the reservoir. How toast that was. There's such a height difference. Oh my gosh, it's crazy. Okay, very nice that the new kit, Brakenetics, came with new keepers because it keeps them there. So we're gonna use these two and a keeper, and then the new pins right here. And what we're gonna do, I cleaned it and I pushed it back in there. What we're gonna do now is we're gonna take the rotor and put the rotor on, and then we'll slide the brakes with not a lot of lube back here, and back here, and we'll slide it on. So now we can go get the rotor. To match your coilovers with your brakes with your car. No, that's not it. So number 1, use a lug nut to put the rotor on to hold it there. That's a pro tip right there. So I have 1 lug nut holding the rotor there. Then what you do is you put the Brembo back on. You do 2 19 millimeters up here and 19 millimeters up here. You do them finger loose, like you just thread them on, but so this can still have some leverage is what I usually do. Then you get this vehicle red, high temp red grease, superior use. This is good stuff. So I use this on the back of the pads right here. Of course it's red, you know, that's why I bought it. And I put it on the back of this pad so it slides. And then you slide it in here and you do the matching positions. So if you can look right here, there is a little squealer thing. This is telling it, and it was going off, I'll tell you that. And that's the same thing right here. This is to indicate, to tell you that it's time to change the brakes again, which won't be for a while for me. You put the same positions on, you slide both of those in. The next thing you do is you put this little spring guy, you put one in here and then push down on this one and slide these in here. And then these little pins that go in here, right here and right here, replace them if you get new ones. Definitely recommend keepers, little keepers. And then I like to take a little, it's not a punch, but if you have a punch, that'd be cool. But this comes with a like screwdriver kit. I use it and I tap it on the back and push it in here. I usually use an actual sludge hammer, like a mallet hammer, but I switch over to an actual tiny, like this is an actual like house hammer, and it's because the little hitting point is smaller so that I can get up on the back of the brake rotor or brake caliper without damaging anything. So I do recommend having that. Now that we're on here, we're done. We're ready to put it back in. Couple things that, you know, aesthetically, this will probably be the thumbnail, but this is ugly, obviously. This is nice, but I am gonna have wheel spacers. We're gonna do that in another video, which will make a huge difference. And I'll have these painted, which will be a huge difference. You have to do that. The reason that I wanted to do this all in one like this instead of doing it with the old brakes is because you have to touch this and move it around and you can chip it and a bunch of things. So now all I can do, I'll show you guys on the next video, all you gotta do is put like this cool a trash bag over here, cool little trick, and then you hit it with that. Oh, it looks amazing. And you don't get overspray or anything like that. And it gets all the spots that you want, like it'll cover in here, and those would have been chipped if I would have done this. So, some people might want to, you know, take these off and get them professionally painted, which I would too, but it costs a lot of money. Or you might want to do a powder coat, which would be nice. But I'm going to show you guys how to do it cost effective, which gets the same results, in my opinion, and last 10 years at least. It always lasts for me. So that being said, we are done with this side. I am ready to put a wheel back on. I did, you know, adjust the coilover to the right height. So let's put a wheel back on and call this one done. Okay, back on this side. So I have that heat shield off because we did the wrinkle black on it. This one cleaned up real nice. Same thing, pulled the wheel off, 1919. Pulled this off, pulled the old caliper, disregarded the old caliper. Put the the old rotor, put the caliper back on, and then use the push pin to push out the two keepers. These two keepers, I got the new ones here. This spring came out, the old pads came out. Oh gosh, that is not much left. Gosh, I got my money's worth out of those. And then now we're back on my favorite part, which we're slowly pushing the pistons back into the caliper. This, if you do not break the right here, because I'm trying not to get any bubbles in mine, but what I'm doing actually is it is pushing the brake fluid out of the reservoir. So you could loosen this and it would come out of here instead of go back, which I'm not sure is the best way. It's probably to do this, to have it come out here. But you do have to push these in here. And then you're gonna go tap the brakes again before you go for a drive, and it'll push all of the fluid back down here with your pedal back into here, and it'll push these up against the rotor. So let's go ahead and finish this out. I'm sure there's gonna be some more brake fluid that does come out. Funny, as I was finishing up, I just noticed that the sticker right and left, right is the, oh, that should be right then. Left is right, and then the driver's side. So I wonder why I had that the other way. So I guess the rotors go that way, they spin the other direction? Let me look. That's interesting because I think that the rotors go the other direction. Let's look. News, I was right. Right is right side, left is left side. That's interesting. I always thought that the rotors would spin the other way. So if you look at it, it's gonna chop into it. Interesting, instead of go with it. So that's the way. So left, right here, this is an L, and the rotors will spin that way. Fascinating. I might have put brakes on the past backwards, I don't recall. And then sometimes they're cross-drilled and slotted. These are just slotted. So I have them right. These are the right. Right side right, left side left. Evo just got 10 times more aesthetic. Oh, that is so good. Yes, I love that. That's exactly what I wanted. So look, black, red, and then black and red, and then black and red, and then it's a, you know, black and red car. It's gonna be perfect. That's exactly. The old ones were just, oh my gosh. And they're on here for the whole majority of the life of the car. So this is just awesome. I love when I touch cars. They turn Perfect. Now we're gonna move on to the rear crusty. This is pretty bad. This is pretty unaesthetic. So that being said, we're gonna push these out real quick right here again, pull these out, pull the brakes out, then pull the caliper off. Then I believe that these are 17 millimeters on the rear of this. Same process. This is pretty easy. It's like the front, but baby size. This is a lot easier. It's a 17 millimeter versus a 19 millimeter, but the same process is the same. Now there is a difference here. This is the e-brake. Make sure you let off the e-brake, otherwise the e-brake springs will be holding the rotor on. 1717, it'll come right off. If it doesn't come right off, you can screw in bolts to push it off against this. So we are gonna pull off, let's see if I can do this heat shield. Is the heat shield on there? I'm not sure if the heat shield's on there with multiple things. It might be. I might not paint this one. I did paint the other one, I liked it. We will clean this, we will clean behind here, and then if you do need to tighten the e-brake, you can, and I can show you how to do that. There's gonna be a little flicker thing right here, and you can rotate it a little bit, and you're gonna want it to be so it sits flush. So let's just start our cleaning process again for the third and almost final. I did decide to hit this while leaving the heat shield on here. I did use some wrinkled black paint that's good for 350 degrees, so it should be good. We'll hit that. I already hit it. I do recommend cleaning this up, your heat shield, whether replacing them or hitting it with a kind of resistant paint like I am. And then we're gonna go ahead and put the new rotor back on and slide the Brembo on. All right, third and final one done. 1717, slid it back in there. This kit did not, the Brakenetic did not come with the rear pins, so do not throw them away. Make sure you're gonna have to reuse those ones. I do clean them with the wire brush, and then I do reinstall them with a little bit of the lubricant, the high temp lubricant, to slide them in and put the new brakes in. We're good. Let's run over to the last one here. On the driver's side is the left side. I don't know why I thought it. It's just the slots go the opposite way. I did not know that. Anyways, yeah, interesting. So the slots go different on this one? I think they do. They go different. So these ones are, I guess, installed incorrectly. Interesting. Is that right? Yeah, they are. Weird. So that's the way that Brakenetic say it, goes the opposite way. Let's start yanking on those 17 millimeters and pop this caliper right off the Brembo. Same process, 1717. I leave the caliper in and push the brakes out, pull the pads out, and then remove the rotor, and now we're here. So super simple. I am going to do the same thing. You guys can see the heat shield's pretty ugly. We'll hit it with some paint, and then we'll wire brush that hub so that we get a nice clean fit on there, and we'll slide the new rotor on and put the new pads in, and we'll be finally done. This is a long project, probably, oh my gosh, probably 4 to 5 hours. It takes an afternoon. Five hours later, we're officially done. New brakes and rotors are on the Evo 9 MR. You can do this. This is definitely an at-home project that you can do to save thousands of dollars. So I'd recommend, this is a good starter if you've never worked on cars before, doing this, especially if you have an Evo 9. I do recommend you tackling it. But that being said, these are great looking parts. Are they going to be good functioning? I'm assuming. Again, these are Brakenetic brakes. We definitely need to paint the Brembos. Overall though, the car is starting to look pretty aesthetic. That is much better. I cannot wait to get those Brembos all fresh. Now what we need to do is clean the Evo 9 MR. I powder coated these wheels. Hopefully they stop getting wrecked by brake dust. And these are less brake dust so that these look good all the time, because new brakes do that. Old brakes do give off a lot of brake dust, especially when they get down to the metal parts. So let's go ahead and clean the wheels, put them back on, and then go for a drive and wrap up the video. I'll show you guys how to brake in the brakes too. Brake in the brakes. Good news, the oil is back on the, the wheels are back on the Evo 9. So we're ready to go for a drive. Before I do that, I am gonna do a quick oil change real quick. I think I changed this like once since I've owned the car. So I'm gonna change it right now, and then we will go do a break-in for the new brakes. I'm very excited. Okay, we got it out of the garage. Oh, those look so good. Look at those. I need to paint the Brembos, but I slammed the car. That looks so good. So next up, we're gonna paint the Brembos, and then follow that, we'll do one more wheel pull off, which will be the spacers. Now, if I push them out just a little bit, I don't know if this will rub or if it needs to go up a little bit. I might need to. It might need to go up just a little bit, but that little tuck fitment looks so good. So I went down quite a bit. Yeah, I can definitely tell. Oh, that is sick. That is so sick. Oh, look at that. It's so squatty. Squatty, squatty. We gotta do some work now. The work that we have to do is you gotta break the brakes in. So what they recommend is doing this 30 times, 30 to 5 mile an hour. So 30 to 5, and then you wait a 30-second, and you do it 30 times. It's a lot of work. So the brakes feel great. They're sitting really well right off the bat. Before you take off, I do recommend pumping the brakes to get all that brake fluid back in there, and then you're on your way. The car is so good looking now that I lowered it so much more. Oh, looks so much better. It's what I wanted. When I put it down the first time, I was like, this is way too high. So, and the handling feels a lot better now that the car is about 3 or maybe like 3 inches lower, quite a bit lower. So it's feeling good. Let's go break in the brakes. Looks so much more like an Evo now. Oh, I love it. Absolutely 10 out of 10. Definitely recommend it. So again, I should have lowered it originally, but I showed you guys how to do that in the last video. Now we have nice Brakenetic brakes. These are really good. They're feeling really good. Again, I haven't had good brakes for a long time on this car, so I don't remember. But I do remember on the Evo 10, it was a bigger car, and I'd put new brakes on it. It did feel good, but these feel really good. So if you get brand new brakes on the Evo 9, this feels way smaller than this actual size of the car. Evo 9 MR owners, or just Evo 9 owners, 8 and 9, they're gonna be like, duh. But the 10, versus the 9 with brand new brakes on it, this thing feels so good and nimble. Also, probably because I lowered the center of gravity quite a bit. But wow, this is starting to feel like a really good setup. So again, we're on some cheap coilovers, really nice Brakenetic brakes and Brakenetic brake pads, which I really like. Now all we gotta do is paint those Brembos, make them look beautiful, and then space the wheels out for even more traction. I think I'm doing 20 millimeters all the way around. I'll show you guys before and after, because currently the car does look tucked. There is no rubbing, so that's really nice. Again, these are OEM. That is such a good setup. But when I push them out just a little bit, I have a huge feeling that that is gonna touch right here. So we're not rolling the fender, so I'll probably end up just raising the car a little bit so I can put the wheel spacers. But currently, that's a very aesthetic slammed look. I love it so much. That is awesome. 10 out of 10. Always make sure to like the video, swing by MitchRay.com, and I'll see you guys on the next video with some more Evo stuff. I cannot wait to get the MR2 driving again, and I got tons of stuff for the FRS. I actually just got another body kit for the FRS. I cannot wait to show you guys which one I got. Very excited to put some parts on the FRS and make good content. I got a lot of videos, probably like 300 videos within the next 300 days. Let's try to do a video a day. That'd be sick. Nah, but I got a lot of good content coming. Like, subscribe, swing by MitchRay.com. See you guys in the next video.